So this is absolutely brilliant. As everybody knows, Trump did sign some executive orders, and they did a big thing. They were talking about what's going on in D.C. and how basically they're over in D.C. saving liberal lives, and the liberals are losing their minds about saving their lives. That is just absolutely insane to me. And Trump has come out with some executive orders for some things that they're going to try to do, like flag burning and all that. And that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. But he's thrown out there and said, you know what, I will come to your city, and I will help you clean up your city, specifically, Chicago. And of course, Pritzker, their governor over there, or they like to call him JB Back Ribs. He goes over there and he's running in one of the safest parts of Chicago along the waterfront there. And he's, panting because he's probably had to run, more than 12 steps. And he says, that everything looks pretty safe and these people are having a good time. Maybe they need to look inward. Let me tell you something there, Pritzker. If you want to make it look like your city's safe, then why don't you go jogging over in the south side of Chicago? When you put up a video that shows you jogging through south side of Chicago, then I will say, okay, Chicago's safe. But the last I heard, which was just not too long ago, there were 6 shootings in Chicago this past weekend. All right? 6 shootings. But he's trying to make everybody believe that Chicago's this safe haven where everybody's just out running around and having a good time. Well, the thing that amazes me is that Democrats love protecting criminals and they love protecting illegals. And this is the damnedest thing to me. And J.D. Vance comes out at the Trump when he's doing these signings and absolutely destroys the governors of these corrupt blue states. And if you don't believe what he says is true, and what Donald Trump is doing is cleaning up the crime, and that the Democrats are fighting it, watch this.
Going to get better and better. Well, it can't get much better. There's no crime. I read where crime's down 89%. I said, really? Who are the 11%? Okay, there's no crime. JD, please.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks, Mr. President. Thanks to the incredible team here. I want to echo something the president said, where you say there haven't been murders in a couple of weeks in D.C., and it doesn't sound good, but then you talk to local law enforcement, and I didn't realize that this town averaged 1 murder every other day for the last 20, 30 years, which means that in 2 short weeks, the president and the team have saved 6 or 7 lives, people who would have been killed.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, they have saved 6 or 7 liberal lives, okay? Because D.C. is chock full of liberals. And if you want to play the devil's advocate, okay, fine. He'll save 1 conservative, but the rest of them are going to be liberal. Because D.C. is by far, the liberals outweigh Republicans in D.C. All right? So, he's saving liberal lives. Now, listen to what he's saying here. 6 or 7 murders per week going on in D.C. for the last 20 or 30 years, which means he saved 5 to 7 liberal lives during that week. Donald Trump did. And the liberals are lambasting Trump for being there and for saving their life. Because all you liberals who are over there protesting like morons, what if you were one of the ones that got killed if Donald Trump did not stop the crime? Then what? Would your family be out there protesting? I bet you they wouldn't. I bet you they'd be, fighting to get to the Capitol to shake Donald Trump's hand. Say, thank you for helping to clean up the crime because my liberal daughter was out protesting against you, and guess what? She got killed while she was doing it. Watch the rest of this.
On the streets of D.C., who are now living, breathing, spending time with their families because the president had the willpower to say no more. We're not going to give the streets of D.C. over to vagrants and robbers and murderers. And the last point I want to make, sir, to your point about we want people to welcome us, to ask us, because look at Governor Pritzker in Illinois, or Governor Newsome in Los Angeles, or Governor Moore in Maryland. They are angrier about the fact that the President of the United States is offering to help them get their crime under control than they are about the fact that murderers are running roughshod over their cities and have been for decades.
Did you hear that? And that is true. If you don't believe me, just go watch all the video of fat-ass Pritzker out there basically telling Donald Trump, we don't need you here. 6 people got shot in your city just a couple of days ago. It sounds like to me you need Donald Trump more than ever. But he is so upset that Donald Trump Donald Trump is stopping the crime. He's so upset because it's just like he said, it's baffling to me how they want the crime and how they want to protect the criminals over the Americans, because that's exactly what they're saying by refusing to let Donald Trump come in there and clean their cities up. You know what? If a few Americans get killed, it's just the cost of business. It's all right. It's all right. But we got to keep those illegals. We got to keep those illegals. And we got to keep those illegals here, and we got to keep the crime here, because the crime brings the illegals. Because with the illegals here, when we do the census count, we're going to have this hyper-inflated population, which is going to give us more seats in Congress so we can take control of Congress, and then we can run ramshot through America forever, keep bringing in the illegals. The illegals will keep voting for the Democrats. The census will keep going up from the illegals, and we will have control forever. And that is the only game plan the liberals have. That is it. They have no other game plan. Watch MSNBC, watch CNN. All they do is sit around and talk. Well, we got to come up with some plans. We got to come up with this. We got to change the party. Yeah, because you have no party. Your party's been hijacked by the AOCs of the world, by the Mom Donnies, the Mr. Scrawnies of the world. All right, the socialists, the communists. They're the ones who've hijacked the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party no longer exists. They might as well go ahead and fold the tent, get rid of the donkey, and just be done with it, because the Democrat Party is gone. If you take all the Democrats in Congress right now and you line them up, people who are moderate against the left-wing nut jobs, the left-wing nut jobs are going to by far outweigh the moderate Democrats. Their party is over. The party of Kennedy is dead. It has been hijacked, all right? And now you have these moronic governors, and I'm going to tell you right now, the worst governors in America are all Democrat governors. You have Pritzker, you have Newsome, you have Hochul, you have what's the one up in Michigan? I can't even think of her name. Metamore, whatever the hell her name is. But these are some of the worst governors in America, and their states are god awful. They're god awful, and crime is running rampant in their states. Hochul doesn't want Donald Trump coming up there. Cool. They can just keep setting people on fire on the subway then, because that's what they're doing. They're setting people on fire in the subways. They're stabbing them on the subways. But crime's fine, because they're more concerned about their illegals being there and their census count than they are about protecting Americans.
Why are Democrat governors angrier about federal law enforcement helping clean up their streets than they are about the fact that those streets need to be cleaned up to begin with? It shows a real sickness in the head. And I agree with the President of the United States. I think most Democrats, rank and file, nobody likes crime. Republicans don't like crime. Democrats don't like crime. Independents don't like crime. Why are Democratic governors doing everything in their power to make crime easier to do in their cities? It doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. But, Mr. President, I appreciate you being willing to help. And I hope these governors take you up on the offer, because we should clean up all of America's streets. It's the right of every American to live in safety and comfort in their community.
So, right now, over in D.C., he's saving lives, and they're calling Donald Trump authoritarian, calling him a dictator, calling him a fascist, you name it, whatever else they can get away with, that's what they're calling him. But I've seen multiple videos of people just walking through D.C., and they're stopping just random people, and how do you feel about it? And they're like, thank God. Thank God. I feel safe now. Here I am with my family. We're going to go to the park. We're going to go to a restaurant. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Hasn't been a murder in D.C. in 12 days. They cannot say that for the last 20 years, and yet they're going to berate the one man that's trying to save their city and save their lives. That is liberal thinking for you, okay? That's liberal thinking. Well, I don't need you to save my life. I'd rather us have the crime and we all die. Well, fine. If that's what you all want, I'm down with that too. Because if you're so stupid that is your mind think, and your hatred for Donald Trump is so bad that you cannot see the good he's doing, then you know what? We don't need you in America anyway. Because I can tell you now, I can sit here and give you a list a mile long of good things Donald Trump has done. Now, has everything been perfect? Absolutely not. And I'm not saying that. And there's still a long ways to go. But you also have to remember, he's cleaning up the mess from one of the worst presidents we've ever had in America. Joe Biden left this country a wreck. And just think what had happened had we voted in the drunkard Kamala Harris, how bad it would be. Donald Trump And I'm going to say this before I go, and make no bones about this, all you unhinged liberals, you left-leaning Democrats, whatever, Donald Trump loves this country. He's not a dictator. He's not a king, you morons. You know, no kings allowed, but you're getting ready to vote a king into New York. Brilliant. He's not a king. He's not a fascist. He's a man that loves America. America has treated Donald Trump very well, and Donald Trump wants to give back to the country that has served him. How much money did Joe Biden make as a president? Was it $450 a year? How much money is Donald Trump making? $0. He donates his entire paycheck. Name one Democrat that has done that. Name one Democrat that has donated their paycheck. You can't, because Democrats are greedy. That's what they do. They're there for political power and for money. How else do you explain AOC making $174,000 a year and worth $20 million in what, 4 or 5 years? Now, according to AOC, she debunked it herself. Oh, great. So you're saying that everybody else is lying. Fantastic. You're the only person to debunk this, by the way. So chances are you've got the money, because AOC, who hates capitalism, who fights the oligarchy, is a capitalist. But the problem is the people on the left are too stupid to understand that, so they keep voting her in over and over and over. And they berate Donald Trump, just like that idiot Robert De Niro, that moron, that complete goofball. You know, Donald Trump's going to come get me if he gets elected. He's going to come get me. No, he's not. Robert De Niro, do you know what you mean to Donald Trump? Less than nothing. Less than nothing. But your TDS and your hatred of Trump keeps Trump on your mind 24 hours a day. That's all you all think about. And because of the liberals' hatred of Trump, even though he has cleaned up their city, he's going to fix the streets, he's picked up the garbage, no murder in 12 days. Crime is at record lows in D.C. They are still berating and screaming at Donald Trump for doing it. That is amazing to me. And some of the most stupidest crap I've ever seen in my life.